And we're live.
Welcome to the October 26, 2023 meeting of the University of Rhode Island Board of Trustees, Academic Affairs and Research Committee. The meeting is being held in person with some committee members participating remotely. At this time, I will conduct a roll call attendance to determine if a quorum is present. Please clearly respond present via WebEx or present in person when your name is called. Neil Kerwin, present via WebEx. Charles Fogarty.
Present via WebEx.
Maria Ducharme. Monica Garnes.
Present via WebEx.
Richard Humphrey. Joseph Matthews.
Present in person.
Melissa Sutherland.
Present via WebEx.
Mark Parlange.
Present WebEx.
Okay. I'd also like to welcome the Vice Chair of the Board of Trustees, Armand Sabatoni, who is visiting us today and participating as a guest. I will certify a quorum is present. Secretary, is that right?
You are correct.
Good. All right, a reminder to all the members for the benefit of our audience, the note taker, please identify yourself whenever you comment, make a motion or second a motion. Participants using WebEx are required to keep their cameras on as remote members, and all persons present at the meeting location must be clearly audible and visible to each other. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge that the University of Rhode Island occupies the traditional homeland of the Narragansett Nation and the Niantic people. Our first order of business is approval of the minutes. May I have a motion?
Charlie Fogarty, so moved.
Oh, good. All right. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
All right. Any discussion on the motion? If not, for the record, they're found in enclosure 1A. I'll ask for a voice vote. All in favor, approve the minutes. All in favor, say yes.
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 All opposed, no. Any abstentions? The motion to approve the minutes carries. The next item on the agenda is report of our Chief Academic Officer, Provost Wolf.
Great, thank you, Neil. And we're going to start off with the update on the fall enrollment report. And able to join us today is Dean Labuti, who's the Associate Vice President for Enrollment Management and Student Success. And he's going to take us through the fall numbers. Dean Labuti. See if we're flying through these. Could get them to stop and not hearing Dean.
Dean, are you there?
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
I can hear you now. Great.
Oh,
Thank you.
Dan. Yep.
You know what? Is it possible for me to share my screen? Do folks mind that? Is that possible?
Yeah, if you want to share your screen, that's fine.
All right, hold on, please. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
You can see a screen, yeah.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, so this fall, to start off with, I'd like to start with enrollment in our first year undergraduate enrollment. What you're seeing on the screen are our applications, 25,391. That was just under a record from last year, but we were only off by about 75 or so. We had a great.
Excuse me, Dean.
Yes.
If we could
We're
kindly
getting-
ask
Yeah.
people to mute.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of feed. Yeah. Thank you, Mark.
All right, is that clearer? Okay, thank you. I see thumbs up. Thank you, President Parlange. I appreciate that. So first year applications, another terrific year. Really proud of the team and the university as a whole. I always say that in recruitment and enrollment at URI is a true team sport. We had 25,391 applications, just under a record from last year. Summer melt is defined as there are many schools that students commit to and then drop off And we have done a lot of work on enhancing our melt. And I'm pleased to say that we used to have a melt of around 13%, and we've enhanced that to only 7.2%. That allowed us to come in at 3277. And on the next screen in a second, I'll show you what it looks like in terms of what our targets were. Incoming high school grade point average for our students was a 3.63. We have a wonderful talent development program at the University of Rhode Island with over 1,000 TD students, and we brought in 282 this year. 61% of our incoming first-year students identify as female. Our diversity index, or I have it here as our historically underrepresented populations, is 24%. And about 10 years ago, that number was only 11%, so it's nice to see. 31% of our first-year students identify as first in family. And of our first-year 3,277 students, 39% are from Rhode Island. And in case you're wondering about that terrific picture, that is with Dr. Parlange hosting the day before classes begin. And I'm pleased to say that the 3.63 GPA was able to help them get in a line and spell URI 2023. So always a good thing. And they were a wonderful group, and that was a great celebration. When it comes in terms of targets, I want to share with you what our targets were and how we came in. So on your top left, you'll see first year. And you'll notice that in-state, we were only off by one student. I will say that our target used to be a couple of years ago, well over 1,400, but due to some of the state tuition programs that impact first-year enrollment, we've had to minimize our in-state target. But again, we were very close. Out of state and regional, you can see we are +9 out of state, +14. And I'm really pleased at how our first-year class came in. To put that in perspective, I received an update the other day from one of our top 5 competitors. They asked not to be named, but they were off by 200 students and are starting immediate budget reductions. So we had a terrific first year intake. Transfer students are on the bottom right. 1 in 5 of our undergraduates who graduates every May actually transfer to the university. And we have a terrific transfer group. You'll see there that we brought in over 500, we brought in 534 full-time transfers. And then you can see the breakdown of in-state, out-of-state, and regional there. But again, we had a nice year of being over target on both. I always like to give the board a little updates on what I saw as some of the strengths and some of the concerns that we have to keep in mind with what happened this past year and going forward. Talked about it, really were able to do a great job enhancing summer melt. And that was a brand new designed program where we really work with onboarding our new students and their families very systematically right from the beginning, and it really has paid off dividends. Campus collaboration, focus on family communication, and more. I'm really pleased at how we kind of have come out of COVID, not having dipped in new undergrad enrollment, and really worked on strategies that worked for us during COVID to help make those permanent parts of the university. These are tough times yielding and recruiting students. Concerns this year that we saw an impact on, we tripled for the first time back in several years, and we saw that in our yield. We had some challenging yield in a couple of our colleges that were in a triple residence hall, so that's 3 people to a room. We did utilize our wait list. It's something we haven't had to do in years, but again, we had it to meet our targets. No question that free tuition programs, Rhode Island Promise at CCRI, the Hope Scholarship at Rick, New York offering in-state tuition to over 22 or so institutions to neighboring states, what New Jersey's doing and others, that's the new landscape of competition out there. It's not just competing one-on-one for student, it's competing in these environments of kind of free state tuition. Economic inflation, I don't know if you've seen, but the loans for family members to borrow money for college right now is 8.5%, 9%, and that really has an impact. And then I'll just say that I'm seeing new players that we've never seen competitive-wise before. I mean, to give you an example, our engineering program is now competing in New Jersey with Virginia Tech. Great program to compete against in terms of quality, but that's kind of a new player that we hadn't seen in the market before. In case you're wondering about our competitors, every year we can take who we admitted to URI and send those to the clearinghouse and get back who are our top competitors. You'll notice this says from fall 22. The fall 23 data won't be available for another couple of weeks. But I wanted to share with the board just some of the competitors we have when students do not attend URI but are admitted. You'll see Delaware, Penn State, Syracuse, South Carolina, James Madison have really been coming up, which is a nice thing because that's actually a geographic market that we've been working towards. And then you'll see some others on here that you would normally not think of as being a flagship state university competitor, but these are schools offering a very high discount rate and really kind of competing with us on a pretty unimaginable price discount. I'll leave it at that. And so this is kind of our competitors for URI on the undergrad level. Overall enrollment at URI, great year, 17,464 students. That's undergrad, grad, online, and high school. And I'm going to tease this out in a second. Over 15,000 undergraduates, and that includes PharmD in this number. 48% in-state. You can see how many from out of state. And then again, you can see the identified gender breakdown. But it was a great year overall enrollment-wise, and we really have a strong showing. In case you're wondering what that looks like in a financial FTE, I apologize for putting so many things on the slide, but one of my colleagues across the hall, Dr. Beeger, gave me a good update. So let's start on the left, please. You can see undergraduate. This is financial FTE, all students. You can see our fiscal year 24 allocation. So if you look at full-time in-state, you'll see 6125. We came in at 6207, and that was a plus 82. Great sign, right, on undergrad. Out of state, again, full-time undergrad, you'll see a plus 91 for out of state, regional as well. We really had a terrific year at the undergrad level. In case you're wondering, the minus 590 number that sticks out, that's actually credit hours. And when you add up this puts the university in a good position on the undergrad enrollment side. So why did this happen? To the right, you'll see a wonderful picture of Dr. John O'Leario and Kimberly White. They launched a new program to help bring back students who were lost during the pandemic. And those two, with that great smile and their perseverance and a life coach counseling that Kim did and John's data sleuthing, we can actually look at these undergrad numbers and attribute close to 50 students alone to this new model we did. It's just an example of a way you can use a new strategy to really make an impact on your numbers. And so this story was actually in URI today. Below that, I want to thank Dr. Vega for sending this along. Some URI Online highlights. The 4 programs you see are data science, and that's a certificate and master's, Master of Library Science, Master of Public Administration, our Learning and Development certification. All are having strong fall enrollments, and we're seeing an over 20% growth in fall over fall online enrollment so far. So really pleased there. And so thank you to Dr. Beeger for adding that just a few minutes ago. Down below on graduate, we have some work to do. This is full-time. You'll see that we were off a little on what our targets were. And I know that the university is in the process. We're all kind of unpacking what did that mean at the program level and what do we need to do going forward. But undergrad-wise, URI Online and others, strong showings. When you look at how our enrollment has changed over time, wanted to share with this group kind of the updates of how we are with. So if you look at this, you'll notice it is students by race, ethnicity, alone and in combination. So what this means is when a student has, for instance, 2 or more race and ethnicities, this is counting them more than once to make sure we understand our inclusive community. And you'll see, to the left, American Indian, going across all the way to the right. If you look at our Hispanic, you'll see we went from 749 to 1893 students. And this gives you an idea of how diversity, again, Black and African American, 725 to 1479. Another way to look at these data, but not in combination, is the following. This is the percent change we've had when you look at the IPEDS definition. Now, please keep in mind when you look at this slide that you'll notice that this is not counting students more than once. So Hispanic, you can see 158% growth since 2008. The category of 2 or more races and ethnicities were on the last slide, were broken out and counted more than once, are here. And then you can see again our different populations. But this gives you an example, especially for some of the newer members, of our change in enrollment over time. And there's no question that you can see the strong growth that we've had in Hispanic Latino with 1893, 2 or more races and others. Just want to give everyone an update of total enrollment by college. This is all majors, all degrees. And you'll see arts and sciences, that's the AS to the left, right? HS is health sciences, business is BU, environment and life sciences is next. 1581 for engineering. Then you have nursing. Next is non-degree, so students who are not in a degree program yet. Education, pharmacy, GSO, and then grad school is neuroscience. And this gives you an idea of a total picture of the university. Broken down a little bit, this blue is undergrad, white is graduate, and then our PharmD, our professional PharmD, is gold. So this is that last slide you just saw, just broken out by undergraduate and graduate. And again, just grounding kind of the numbers by college. This is how it looks over time. And you've got from 2008 to 23, undergraduate degree seeking is blue. Again, white is graduate. When you see the gold undergraduate non-degree, the majority of this is actually our great high school dual and concurrent enrollment programs that are run out of our College of Education. We offer pretty much computer science to every high school student available, college writing and others. But when you look at this graph, it really doesn't truly show change over time. And so this gives you an example of that last graph by category. So if you look at the top left, you'll see we had a strong growth in undergraduate enrollment. And then we've really gotten to a point, I mean, again, you can see with housing and others, we're really at our capacity there. Graduate is the next top right. Bottom left, again, is that undergraduate non-degree. Think of those high school classes are the majority. And this big spike is thanks to Dr. Victor Fay Wolf and his work in launching computer science and cybersecurity. So you can see how the impact really impacts your enrollment. And then in the bottom right is graduate non-degree. Enrollment over time on undergrad. So you've seen a lot about the Rhode Island market declining. We really have not seen a growth in Rhode Island high school graduates. We have about under 10,000 every year. And there are other institutions within the state that are down 30–35% in enrollment because of this. And so you can see that since 2008, white is our growth in out of state and blue is our decline in in-state. But what's nice about our decline is only about half of what many others have experienced. So even during a time of challenging undergraduate enrollment within the state, we did not dip even close to the 30+%. And I consider that with our programs, Finish What You Started. The re-enrollment program is really helping to bring as many Rhode Islanders here, often in the non-traditional way. In case you're wondering, top programs on the left are your undergrad, top 10 by headcount enrollments. Psychology, right? And then you can see nursing, computer science, kinesiology, criminology, and criminal justice. You know, that was just a new major for us about 8 or so years ago. And you can see it's, you know, what is that, top 5. And then communications, finance, biology, mechanical engineering, and marketing. On the right are our non-PhD top grad programs. PharmD is really recruited like an undergrad program, but is a 6-year doctoral at 648. And then you can see our other headcounts in our MBA, for instance, part-time is 134. When you see an asterisk on the right, those are programs that have our URI online And what's nice is for instance, the case of library and information studies in the MPA, moving from in-person to online is actually helping us see enrollment growth. So kudos to the online team, the grad school and others for kind of working on those programs and making a difference. And then,
Dean, I'm
Yeah.
just, it's Neil for a second. I'm just wondering, just to get an estimate, how much time do you think you have left? Because
I'm actually done. This is the last one.
Oh, is it?
Perfect timing. Yes, I can only
Boy.
bore you so much with exciting enrollment charts, so I apologize. So
No.
this
Because I'm sure there are going to be some questions and I want to make sure we have enough
Absolutely.
time for the other items.
no, this is just, I will just say that when you saw that last chart with undergrad and grad enrollment, here's our opportunity. On the grad side, you'll see our blue line is in state, our white is out of state, and you'll notice the growth there. And then PharmD. And so summary, and I will stop this presentation so we can hear your questions, is solid year. Really, the university did a wonderful job, and we had a great open house the other day with a record attendance for fall 24. Getting harder, no question, competition is there, but I could not be more pleased with our faculty and our staff involvement, and I welcome any questions or comments you may have on that.
Thank you, Dean. Questions, please, for Dean. There's a lot of substance there.
Neil?
Yes, please.
Charlie. Dean, a question for you, getting back to state enrollment. I noticed there was a big difference between the freshman year class, 39% in state versus the overall 48%. Is that typical, or are we going to see a continuous shift in terms of out-of-state students?
So thank you for that question. URI got negatively impacted on in-state first-year traditional enrollment through by the free tuition at the community college. That impacted us. When that was happening, we enhanced our efforts on in-state transfers and on adults coming back to college from Rhode Island. So we knew that it was going to dip traditionally because of what was happening with other state programs. So we have tried to mitigate that and bring as many Rhode Islanders to URI through re-enrollment through the pandemic, finish what you started, which is our adult degree program and others. But there's no question that, I would normally bring in 1,450 to 1,500 in-staters, and demographics and change in programs have an impact on us.
This is a point of comparison. Do you have the approximate percentage the freshman class of 2022 was?
Oh, each year it's dropping a couple of percent. To give you an example, when I started about 8 years ago, it was actually about 55% in-state, and that has been going down. But keep in mind, part of the growth factor from a budget perspective has actually been adding out-of-state students. So it's not replacing an in-stater with an out-of-stater. I want to be very clear on that. We admit every Rhode Islander who's ready to be successful at URI, but trying to work against other factors there. So that was, for me, it's been dropping about 2% a year for the past couple of years, and really sped up in that 2017-18 timeframe with the approval of the new program.
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, Mark?
Dean, you gave the numbers of the graduates. You had MBA part-time. What's MBA full-time numbers?
Yeah, Mark, MBA full-time's around 50 students. I'm doing that from memory, so I'm plus or minus a couple, but those were the top 10 enrollments, and because it was below 50, it was not on the chart. So.
Okay, thank you.
Dean, I've got one question. You mentioned going to the wait list for the first time in a while. Do you have any sense of what kind of impact that might have had on the entering qualifications of the freshman class?
So our average GPA and our median grade point average did not drop. The students that were admitted off the wait list have actually some of the same challenges that we see in some of our other students because of the learning loss that happened through COVID. So the ironic thing is our whole first year class is in this connection of needing extra help in math and other areas due to the past couple of years. So at this point, we're not quite seeing it. I do have to wait until the end of the fall semester, Chair to kind of get grades to kind of then go back and do kind of an analysis that way. But early, words from our faculty, we do check in the academic enhancement centers. They're seeing a tremendous need overall with this class, not necessarily a differentiation because of one small group was not as prepared as others. Unfortunately, this group, and if you've seen some of the national reports, really were quite impacted the past couple of years with learning loss.
Okay, well, thank you.
Nick?
Any other questions for Dean?
Neil, Joe Matthews.
Yeah, Joe, go ahead.
A quick comment and a question. I am absolutely dumbfounded by psychology being the leading major, so thank you for that information. I do have a question about the online, and this is strategically, is this promoted by the individual colleges? Do they have their own strategies, such as Library of Science and Arts and Sciences? Or is there a university strategy to expand online services? Thank you.
So I'll start with the mental health, and I'm going to see if thumbs up for thumbs up. My colleague, Dr. Beeger, wants to jump in on the online. But just quickly, it is very common.
Dean, can I ask everybody to go on mute who's not currently speaking? We're getting more feedback.
Just quickly about psychology. It is very common when there are issues in society that are pressing that this generation wants to major and be part of that. Mental health and wellness was in one of 3 essays in our high school applications to college, and you see them wanting to be part of helping to create that solution, being part of that problem. So it's kind of exciting to see. We saw growth in blue economy. We also saw it in political science and kind of the political arena. So that is common. In terms of URI Online, I will say it's part of a overall URI strategy. And Dr. Beeger, did you want to jump on and just say a word or two about that?
Sure. I think it's fair to say that there's both a college and department strategy here as well as the overall university strategy. So for example, programs like the Masters in Library and Information Science or the Master of Public Administration, we're seeing declining enrollments because the population interested in those programs tends to be working while pursuing a graduate degree. And so increasing access through offering those programs online is meeting the needs of the learner. At the same time, the university is looking at how can we engage with a greater number of students, both traditional students as well as partners out there in industry and adult learners, or kind of finish what you started, people who have certain number of credits towards graduation and would like to come back. And so increasing the avenues that they're able to access programs at the university is part of an overall strategy, and doing that through the online programs.
Thank you. Any other questions for Dean?
Just a quick
Neil?
one. Hi, Monica Garns. Hi, Dean. Thanks for a great report and congratulations on a great year here we have going. So I just had a question and I guess a comment. So one of the concerns you have was the tripled residence halls. Obviously, that's important to students. Are you finding that students are admitted, they want to come, and they're hoping, fingers crossed, they don't get put into a tripled residence, or are they visiting and just opting out? And I guess it just speaks to the importance of addressing our residence halls and accommodations for students.
Thank you for that. We are losing yield and losing students because we triple. We try to minimize it by limiting it to certain colleges rather than, oh, I hope it doesn't impact the entire college. There were families that said, I do not want to be, I will not come here if I am. But the reality is we have so much need at the undergrad and graduate level. So the university is well aware of it. We're working a lot on that, but it is something that our competitors use against us, and families are not welcoming as much as we would hope, and especially post-COVID. But we were still able to meet enrollment while we're quickly, hopefully, doing some great stuff on the residence hall side, which I know the university is.
Thank you.
Charlie, did you have one final?
Yeah, one final comment. Getting back to my original question on the in-state, I guess I'm a little bit concerned looking down the road as we look to build support for the university and continue that support over time. Is there a number that we really need to get worried about that public policy makers will think, gee, we're supporting an institution that is mostly non-Rhode Islanders, and I'm just raising that as a concern, not right now, but down the road a bit if this trend continues.
I agree. We've talked about this, and we do everything we can to support Rhode Island in education in some of the challenges we have with declining enrollments in certain almost enrollment management type programs within the state that's moving students. So I would agree, and I know the university has concerns about that as well.
Okay, Dean, thank you for a good report. Great. I really do think that the precision with which you hit those numbers is sort of awe-inspiring based on my experience with it over 100 years. So I think that and the number of questions you got, I think, are reflective of how seriously the committee takes it. So thanks very much. Barbara, I know you got a couple of other items in your provost report.
Sure. I wanted to provide an update on the dean searches. And last week, we announced a new dean for the College of Pharmacy. And following a national search that was quite competitive, Dr. Carrie LaPlante has been appointed Dean of the College of Pharmacy and will begin her role beginning of January 2024. And Dr. LaPlante is currently a tenured full professor at URI College of Pharmacy, and she is also chair of the Department of Pharmacy Practice and Clinical Research. She joined URI in 2004, initially as an associate professor, and then went on to become a full professor and then obviously chair. She is a licensed clinical pharmacist. She is internationally recognized for her expertise in antibiotic use and antimicrobial resistance, and as well related health policy implementation. So Dr. LaPlante has penned over 140 peer-reviewed scholarly articles. She has been quite successful with external funding, totaling more than $21 million in awarded research grants as either principal investigator or co-investigator. And these come from places such as the National Institutes of Health and the Department of Veteran Affairs and pharmaceutical industry. She holds the distinction of a fellow in several national academies, including the Society of Infectious Diseases Pharmacists, the Infectious Disease Society of America, and the American College of Clinical Pharmacy. And again, all very prestigious recognitions for her work. She is the first female dean of the College of Pharmacy, and we're very excited to welcome her into that new role. I also hope to have some upcoming announcements soon regarding the College of Nursing and the College of Health Sciences, so stay tuned.
Very good.
So any questions about the dean searches?
Just a quick comment on the pharmacy search. I mean, that academic record is just extraordinary. So congratulations.
We're very pleased with the quality of candidates. So again, a lot of work by a lot of people that we're very grateful for. The next item is related to a December commencement plans, what we're calling our fall commencement. And we had a great deal of feedback from students, parents, alumni, and URI will be implementing a new fall commencement ceremony, and it'll be held on Saturday, December 16th at 10 a.m. in the Ryan Center here on the Kingston campus. And it will be a wonderful opportunity to celebrate graduates who complete degrees as well as certificate requirements in this fall semester. And it's actually very important for our graduates who complete their degrees in December because many of them are unable to have the flexibility in terms of coming back for a May graduation. And either they're employed or they're in graduate school. And just as a reminder, more than 90% of URI graduates are employed or pursuing graduate studies within 6 months of their URI graduation. So we will feature one unified ceremony that recognizes both undergraduates and graduate degree candidates at the same time. And we anticipate more than 800 students are expected to complete their degree requirements during the current fall semester. And just as a reminder, for the last 2 past years in December, we've had more than 800 individuals who actually do meet the requirements in December. So the feedback has been quite positive about this new event. Students, families, and faculty are eager to celebrate, and we look forward to doing that. So I'll stop there.
Thank you. I frankly, personally, I think it's a wonderful move. I think it makes a huge difference to families, especially mid-year when by the time June rolls around, you know, folks are in a very different place in life. So thank you for that. All right, the next item on the agenda is the report of our Chief Research Officer, Bethany Jenkins. Bethany?
Yeah, first of all, I wanted to say I'm very thrilled that we're going to have Dr. LaPlante as our new Dean of Pharmacy. I think she's going to be fabulous for our research community, and we all look very much forward to working with her and helping her accelerate the really great things going on in one of our marquee colleges. So I'm super excited about that, and that wasn't on my agenda. It's a little off the cuff, but just wanting to share that excitement. I have a few things to talk about just very briefly because the academic side of the house is got a longer report, and also that you saw a very extensive report from the division in our last committee and board meeting. So our funding portfolio really continues to grow, and one of the things that I really want to highlight is the University of Rhode Island and the Division of Research's participation in this Ocean Tech Hub EDA designation, which is a really big deal from the Biden administration. I know our president was on a call with President Biden earlier this week about this announcement. So that's really thrilling for Rhode Island, and the university really stepped up and was front and center in helping get that designation based on our importance and presence in Rhode Island's blue economy. And so just to tell you a little more about it as a board, you're probably heard potentially some announcements, and so that you understand more what it is. The Tech Hubs Award is a designation for our region to be recognized as an area of excellence in ocean technology that includes ocean robotics, sensors, and materials. It covers Rhode Island. Rhode Island Commerce is the lead applicant, Southeast Massachusetts, and partners in Connecticut. And it's really around developing, testing, and commercializing maritime robotics, artificial intelligence around all of our strengths in the ocean and blue economy. So the URI was really, I think, an important accelerant in the fact that the state has this designation. And furthermore, it's going to help our research because we can leverage this designation not only for EDA funding, but for other pieces of federal funding we want to tie into the blue economy. So it's really a win all around, and that's really exciting. So that's kind of the big research impact that I want to report. And the other thing I just want to put on people's radar is we do have a lot of strengths that are funded in the area of offshore wind, and groups of people that are just consistently working together to develop, white papers and a presence on campus. So again, those of you that are out talking to industry partners or people across the state, we want to think about URI as a go-to place for a real breadth of experience in the offshore wind, from anything around ecosystem studies of turbine installations to floating wind turbines to the social sciences around where these wind turbines are installed. And we actually have a really unique niche in that social science area coming out of the College of Environment and Life Science, and David Bidwell's work. He's got really strong funding in that area. So that's a really neat thing to see really coming to fruition as these offshore wind farms come online. So those are the kind of the big highlights. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the University of Rhode Island's Research Foundation. I've been doing more to understand how the university partners with them, our affiliation with them. We're in the process of renegotiating an affiliation agreement, so that's ongoing. And just been very involved, and I just wanted to announce that I was voted yesterday to sit on their board as their vice chair, which will be an important bridge between the university and the University of Rhode Island's Research Foundation. So that's my very encapsulated summary. Happy to take any questions.
Well, the chair appreciates encapsulation, but we're very pleased to hear the news. Mark, it must have been interesting to be on the phone with the president, learning about that designation. And personally, I think that the work that's being done, building even stronger bridges with the foundation, will really prove to be extremely beneficial over the years. So congratulations on being elected to that board, Bethany. Questions now for our Chief Research Officer. Okay, well, hearing none, the prevailing statutes allow this committee to go into executive session when considering matters that have to do with job performance and other characteristics of personnel. So I would like to have a motion that the Academic Affairs and Research Committee convene into executive session to discuss the job performance, character, or physical or mental health of a person or persons, provided that the person or persons affected shall have been noticed in advance and in writing, and advised that they may require that the discussion be held at an open meeting. The person involved has been notified in writing and that knows that this executive session will indeed take place. So is there a motion to that extent?
Monica Garn, so moved.
Do I have a second?
Maria Ducharme, second.
Any discussion of the motion? If not, I'll ask for a voice vote. All in favor, please say yes.
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 All opposed, say no. Any abstentions? The motion is approved unanimously. We'll now convene into executive session. The estimate is that it will last approximately 15 minutes. We may complete it a bit earlier than that. After that, we will reconvene in open session. The live stream is going to be paused during the executive session and will resume once it has ended and the committee reconvenes. For those committees, so I guess we go to executive now, and then I'll ask for the committee's certification that they are alone and their work cannot be overheard.
Go ahead and make that call now, Neil, before we go into executive session.
Okay, so for the committee members participating via WebEx, please confirm by saying yes that no other person is present and are able to hear the executive session discussion at the remote location.
Yes.
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 Okay, if you don't automatically move to breakout session, join the session when prompted to do so on your screen.
For clarification, Chair Kerwin, am I part of this session or not? I always get confused when.
Well, I'll refer to the secretary, Michelle.
Bethany, what we'll do is we'll put you in the lobby during this brief.
Okay, all right.
If that works for you, just based on the topics that we'll be discussing.
Yep, okay.
Thank you. We're back into open session.
Neil, I think you're muted.
Okay, yeah. The Academic Affairs and Research Committee is now convened in open session. And our first order of business in open session is to seal the executive session minutes. May I have a motion that the minutes of the Academic Affairs and Research Committee, October 26th executive session, be sealed?
Monica Garn, so moved.
Is there a second?
Charlie Fogarty, second.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say yes.
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 Yes. All opposed, please say no. Any abstentions? The motion is approved unanimously. The next item on the agenda, or items, are action items. The first is the review of awarding of undergraduate, graduate degrees, diplomas, certificates, and honors. It's our tradition to ask the provost to comment on this prior to taking a motion.
Yes, thank you. You will see in your appendix that we have a number of individuals. They still have till November 1st to declare their going to a December graduation, but we are thrilled to have approximately 800 individuals who will be meeting the criteria for graduation or certification requirements fulfilled in December.
Good, thank you. Any questions? If not, can I have a motion that the Academic Affairs and Research Committee of the URI Board of Trustees recommend that the Board of Trustees approve the awarding of undergraduate, graduate degrees, diplomas, certificates, and honors to be conferred by the President to the candidates who have completed their requirements at the conclusion of the fall 2023 term and who are approved by the faculty of the University of Rhode Island as recommended and presented in the enclosure.
Charlie Fogarty,
Joseph
so
Matthews,
moved.
so moved.
Do I have a second?
Charlie Fogarty, second.
Okay, is there any discussion now on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask for a voice vote. All in favor of the motion, please say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, please say no. Any abstentions? The motion is approved unanimously. We now move to a second agenda action item. Review the granting of tenure effective January 1, 2024 to an incoming faculty member who has met the requirements for tenure at URI and recommendation for approval to the Board of Trustees. This is the candidate that was discussed in executive session. Provost, would you want to provide any additional material than what you presented in the closed session?
Yes, the individual has had a positive recommendation based on a thorough assessment of the candidate and consideration.
Thank you, Provost Wolf. So may I have a motion that the Academic Affairs and Research Committee of the URI Board of Trustees recommend that the Board of Trustees approve the granting of tenure effective January 1, 2024 to an incoming faculty member who has met the requirements for tenure at the University of Rhode Island as recommended and presented in the executive session.
Monica Garn, so moved.
Is there a second?
Joseph Matthews,
Maria
second.
Ducharme, second.
Any discussion of the motion? Hearing no discussion, I will now ask for a voice vote. All in favor, please say yes. Yes.
Yes.
All opposed, no. Any abstentions? The motion is approved unanimously. The next action item is the review of the awarding of honorary degrees for commencement 2024 and the recommendation for approval to the URI Board of Trustees. We have all received confidential material related to this action item. And I now ask the university provost and the president to comment on them.
The review committee is pleased to present to you the candidates that you had available to you for a honorary degree nominee. Very, very enthusiastic.
Good. Mark, want to add anything to it?
No, I think the provost did a
Good. Okay, then may I have a motion that the University of Rhode Island Board of Trustees approve the awarding of honorary degrees to the recipient proposed by the office of the president and the nominating committee.
Monica Garn, so moved.
Charlie Fogarty, second.
Any discussion on the motion? Then I'll ask for a voice vote. All in favor of the motion, please say yes.
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 All opposed, please say no. Any abstentions? The motion is approved unanimously. The final agenda item, action item, is a motion to adjourn. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Charlie Fogarty, so moved.
Always.
Yeah, boy, for a moment there, I thought we weren't going to get the motion. We could have been here
Neil,
for
Courtney beat you today in efficiency, though, I have to say.
All right, well, I'm gonna have to work on that.
You lost your crown for this period.
We still need a second, by the way.
Joseph Matthews, second.
Thank you, Joe. All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, no. Any abstentions? The motion to adjourn is approved unanimously. And we'll see everybody at the board meeting.
See you next week, folks. Have a good day.
So long.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.